ranking Coach of the Year candidates this year. This is a Poly Market sponsor segment. Right now, they're top 5 in percentage. Mike Vrabel, 47%. Kyle Shanahan, 37%. Liam Coen's number 3 at 9%. Mm-hmm. Mike McDonald's number 4 at 7%. Ben Johnson's number 5 at 7%. Do you disagree or agree with this top 5?
I strongly disagree. Good. Oh, the names are good. The order's wrong. The order's wrong.
Remind me, who was 1 and 2?
Mike Vrabel and Kyle Shanahan.
The names are right. The order is wrong.
Ben Johnson should be 1 without a shadow of a doubt.
He's also my number 1.
My number 1's Kyle Shanahan. I like that Mike McDonald's came actually in this group because very few people expected Seattle. Some people like me had Seattle finishing 3rd in the division.
I thought they'd be a playoff team.
Seattle team has proven so many people wrong. My number 1 though would be Kyle Shanahan for all the Niners have overcame and still having this 11-4 record.
Their defense is dog shit, to be fair.
It's truly incredible that I think no coach has done a more impressive job this year than Shanahan. That's how I measure Coach of the Year. The job that you've done and kind of who's been the most valuable to their team. 2 for me would be Ben Johnson. 3 Liam Coen, just like this list. 4 McDonald I think is solid. Then Shawn Payton and a few other guys have Mike Vrabel deserves some shout.
My thing is I think Shawn Payton's not having a seat at this table because he's established and he's a Hall of Fame coach if he retires tomorrow.
These guys also got a better case though.
Is there a better case than having the best defense in the league? Is there a better case than being number 1 in the conference? Is there a better case than the offense being second half of the season, I guess, one of the most efficient in the league?
There is a case against the coach
absolutely changed the culture in Denver.
For sure.
Before him, we were a poverty team.
If this is a multi-year thing, then sure, but this is a this-year thing.
Yeah.
The Broncos made the playoffs last year. The expectation was make the playoffs again this year. Mm-hmm. They went a step further and they won the AFC West, but comparatively to Ben Johnson, who they were 4th in odds to win their division, going from worst to first. Mike Vrabel going from worst to first. Kyle Shanahan having an injured team and still making the playoffs and having a chance to get the number 1 seed in the NFC with half of his defense and most of his offense being injured for the entirety of the season. Mm-hmm. I think Liam Coen taking a 4-win team to almost 13 in 1 year. Like
Liam Coen deserves to have a seat at this table.
On my list.
Mike McDonald, who I think that the Broncos and the Seahawks, you can argue they made similar jumps from the Broncos made the playoffs, but the Seahawks were a 10-win team last year. They were really good. And then they make a jump and they could win the NFC. They could be the number 1 seed in the conference. So I think they're like 4 stamped over Shawn Payton. Yeah. Mike McDonald, I would have him over Shawn Payton because he coaches his side of the ball, defense, and they're elite. Shawn Payton is an offensive play caller, and the offense has been up and down. There have been times this year where Broncos fans have complained about Shawn Payton and his play calling. So I feel like Shawn Payton has turned around the Broncos, but this year's coaches of the year candidates are ridiculously strong.
They're amazing. Like, it's one of the best cases, one of the best races I've seen in a long time.
In any other year, there are 4 to 5 guys that would easily win in those years. Like,
you're right,
man. Liam Coen, Kyle Shanahan, Mike Vrabel,
and McDonald
and Ben Johnson all have a case to be number 1.
I only had 2 names above Shawn Payton. I have Ben Johnson 1, Kyle Shanahan 2.
Thank you for having some fucking respect.
I think I hear what you're saying because Coach of the Year, it's a combination of preseason expectations and then what you actually did in the season. If you want to do what you actually did in the season, especially overcoming injuries and adversity, I think Kyle Shanahan is a perfect choice. When it comes to preseason expectations, that's where I'd have Ben Johnson number 1. Because I remember having the conversation, late in August when we were doing predictions, like, do the Bears have any chance to make the playoffs? And I was like,
I tried to nudge you guys into saying,
I was like, I love the Bears. I was like, I think the talent's there. I love Ben Johnson, Caleb, but look at the division. Like, we're expecting 3 playoff teams, and then at that time, Packers just got Micah. So it felt like an impossibility for them to make the playoffs, let alone win the division. So the fact that that was the expectation and you did win the division, and also your side of the ball, the offense, you snap your fingers. You're the best offensive line in the sport. You invested a lot, or one of the best offensive lines, and you're one of the best run games in the sport, right? So Ben Johnson made his mark early on. Shanahan would be 2 because of all the injuries you overcome, including quarterback. And I mean, basically all their best players got hurt.
It's a perfect list, Els.
3 would be Shawn Payton. I think Mike Vrabel, I had 4. Liam Coen, I had 5. McDonald would be 6. All of them definitely have a seat at the
Vrabel,
table
Liam
here.
Coen?
I would have Vrabel for Liam Coen 5. I could hear either
I was
way.
gonna say that's the only
Mike
thing I was
Vrabel's biggest knock is their schedule.
correct.
Yes, it
That's
is their
it.
schedule.
Yep.
And
For
you're knocking
me,
Kyle Shanahan a lot for that too.
he's
I'm
number
assuming.
two.
Okay.
He's number two.
That's why he's not number one though.
No, I think he's not number one because Ben Johnson took a team that nobody thought could make the playoffs. I thought the Patriots would be an 8-9 win team. You thought it'd be a playoff team. A lot of people thought they would be playoff teams. They were a popular choice to be worst to first, although they had a chance to be the 1 seed. But New England, to me, I don't want to take anything away from Vrabel because what he did from a culture perspective, the toughness that this team plays with, it has Vrabel written all over it. But a lot of it's Drake May just becoming a superstar and Josh McDaniels having a hell of a season too. That shouldn't take away from Mike Vrabel. Just in this argument, it takes away a bit of it from me. And I would have Liam Coen 5.
I think we need to respect Liam Coen more than we are. Because
I agree.
the turnaround that we've seen, he's the first coach in NFL history to take a team that won 4 or fewer games to 12 wins.
Yes,
Bottom 10
first-time
offense
coach.
to an arguable top 10 offense. Bottom 10 defense to an arguable top 10 defense.
I'm not mad at
Trevor
it.
Lawrence is playing the best football of his career. And
Easily.
we've seen guys who, in past years, are miscast and put in wrong roles like Travis Etienne, thrive. Parker Washington, thrive. Coming to the year, and even like week 12, 13, I remember being on Joel's show and we're talking about who's going to the AFC South. Most people did not have the Jags winning. It was the Colts. The Colts get off to a historic offensive start. They fall into the back burner.
sold my stock.
The Texans start 0-3, and now next thing you know, Texans are having their best season yet, D'Amico Ryans. And even with the Texans and Colts being at their best this season and exceeding expectations, the Jaguars are going to win this division. I'm a little bit lower on Ben Johnson's case. While he's still quite clearly got an amazing case because the worst case scenario happened for the Vikings. And I think they have been one of, if not the most disappointing team in football. And at the Lions, they fall off pretty drastically too. So you look at the top 2 teams in that division taking such a strong step back. It opened up that door for Chicago, even though I had them finishing last in this division, because in large part, I didn't want to put those high expectations on them.
Can you make the same argument for the AFC South? You had the Tennessee Titans were the worst team in football, one of the worst teams in football. The Colts fell apart the second half of the year.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones tears his Achilles. The Texans are the one team that's staying their way, but like the Packers have still been good. The Lions have still been, they were in the contention for the division a couple weeks ago. You know what I mean? It's not like they started off 4-7 or something.
Right. I mean, my counterpoint to that is the fact that we've seen the Jags signature wins over the Colts, over the Broncos. They've been the very best too, and that's what I go
Signature
back
win over
to
the
as well.
Packers. That was a pretty big win. They should have had it last night. They probably have another signature win.
They
not
have
thinking.
a win over the Eagles.
The Eagles win was big.
That's
yeah.
their signature win of the season. I think coupled with the Packers one. The Packers one was pretty excellent.
Yeah.
I think that there's somebody here that's going to get nitpicked. And for me, I look at strength of schedule. I look at the percentage of victories that you've won that have been like winning teams. The Patriots are pretty low. That's why I'm kind of shocked that Mike Vrabel is right now the favorite on Polymarket to win Coach of the Year, because I have him not even in my, and I have him number 3. He's in my top 3, but he's not in my top 2. My top 5 would be Kyle Shanahan.
Number 1.
Number 1. I think that what he has done with a depleted roster, taking 2 different quarterbacks. It's like if Ben Johnson lost Caleb for a quarter of the season and Tyson Bagent had to come in and play and they won those games. I'm very high on Mac Jones, but that's just a comparison. Mac Jones, who people thought was washed goods, you go Thursday Night Football and you beat the LA Rams. Yeah. When your best receiver is Kendrick Bourne on the field and he goes for $150 plus. Kyle Shanahan, week in and week out, has consistently had the best game plans. He's not just beating teams by 1 score, and I think that's the knock against Ben Johnson. And even to a degree, Shawn Payton, as a lot of their victories have been final drives. And the Bears, they've won a lot of games like that. Number 2 is Liam Coen.
Winning in final drives is a bad thing?
It doesn't show dominance. And Kyle Shanahan, the Niners, have for the most part showed dominance. Unless it's been against a opponent that has been on their tier, like the Seahawks week 1, like the Rams Thursday Night Football. For the most part, the 49ers are winning their games pretty comfortably, like handily. It doesn't take until a final drive. And I think that just props them up a little bit more. Liam Coen taking a 4-win team to a 12-win team in 1 season. The revival of Trevor Lawrence. Liam Coen is really high up in his signature wins. And I also think that the Jaguars are just like the better team of all these teams. And I think it's in large part to him getting everything right. Trevor Lawrence, the receivers, the offensive line, the running backs, like all these things were question marks last season. Like, man, is the offensive line good? Can Travis Etienne be good this year? Can Trevor Lawrence be consistent? And those things have been answered.
We don't even talk
traded
about
up
Travis Hunter.
They literally traded up for the second overall pick and lost him for the season, and they're still going to win 12-13
We don't even
games.
talk about Travis Hunter.
It's truly
It's
absurd
insane.
how, I said it the other day, how they've won this many games in spite of not having Travis and Brian Thomas Jr. being average.
And Travis
That's the
Hunter
craziest
got
part.
hurt after the best game of his year.
Yeah, he's probably going to break out, unfortunately.
Yeah, like what Parker Washington is doing now, like why can't Travis Hunter do that? He was playing that well. Mike Vrabel was number 3. Liam Coen, same vibes. Like he took a 4-win team to a 13+ win team, but just the strength of the schedule matters for me. Ben Johnson, number 4. He won the NFC North. Caleb's first year. The run game completely transformed. They were garbage last year, and now they can run the ball against anybody. Like that is a big testament to his coaching job. And then number 5 was Mike McDonald. So you take the leap from 10 games to potentially winning the NFC this season, and what he's done with that defense and turning it into an elite unit. Nick Emenawari being in contention for Defensive Rookie of the Year, taking a flyer and saying, we don't care what nobody says. We're trading Geno Smith. We're trading DK Metcalf. We're going to bring in Sam Darnold. JSN will be our number 1. And for Sam to have another magical season, for JSN to lead the league in receiving yards, that's why I had him number 5. That'd be my top 5.
So no Shawn Payton.
No Shawn Payton in my top 5, no.
Okay. 1 seed, best record in the NFL?
He'd be number 6. But
With the best record in the NFL, number 6 is crazy.
They have it at easy. Like
They're separated by, like, a
their
game
schedule
at most.
isn't. Their strength schedule, I think, is the second weakest. So it's not. If you want to use that, fair. But they have signature wins too.
I was going to say, we have a win versus the Eagles. We have a win versus the Packers. We beat the Chiefs with Mahomes. Beat the Texans on the road.
The thing for me and why the number 1 in the AFC is not my barometer is because
Best record in the NFL.
Yeah, but they're separated by so little games. If the Broncos win this weekend, that'd put them at 14.
See, but I'm okay with what you're saying if you have them like 3,
Who is your one? Shanahan.
4.
Number 1,
And
Shanahan.
what do they have? 11 wins.
No, they could win
12?
14.
Well, no, you had the Seahawks winning this week. That's what I just said.
Yeah. If they win
have
this
they have
week,
13 wins
it'd be
Or 12.
they'd be at 13,
So they have 12
or are they
wins
13
right now.
right now?
Let me see. They are currently 12-4.
Okay, so they're either going to finish with 12 wins or 13 wins. The Broncos will probably finish with 14 wins. They're at 13.
Wins, yeah, listen.
I don't think the 2 wins is that big of a difference. Then we talk about the Jaguars. The Jaguars are going to finish with 13 wins.
Oh my God. Thank God.
Wow. The
Not too far from
Seahawks,
the
if they
second one.
win this weekend,
Congrats,
they're going to.
brother. Just lost.
Damn.
If the Seahawks win this
Congrats,
weekend,
Ty.
they're going to be
That's
at
huge, man.
14
Year one.
wins.
Year 1.
If the Seahawks win this weekend, they're going to be at 14 wins.
Yeah.
So, like, so you think that Shawn Payton's argument over Mike McDonald is stronger? And for what reason?
That's a good question. I had Mike McDonald 6th on my list. You make a good argument. I think obviously they won the best defenses in the league. They have some signature wins. The Rams one that they had a couple weeks ago was crazy. I'm not mad at it. Again, I think all 6 of these guys deserve it. And preseason expectations for Seattle and Denver were probably about the same for me. I thought they would both be wildcard teams. I thought they'd both be tough outs. They had really strong rosters. I definitely questioned the Sam Darnold move. But yeah, I mean, there's a world where that happens. Seattle's in the number 1 seed in the NFC, 14 wins, and a lot of it's on the back of that defense. So I don't hate it.
Man, I forgot about Shawn Payton because my honorable mention was D'Amico Ryans.
Oh my God.
Rallying the ship as well as he did after the
I mean,
slow start.
dude, they started
Yeah.
off 0-3.
Okay, I get it, but we literally have the best record in football.
D'Amico Ryans has done a more impressive job. with that
Jesus
Texans
fucking
team.
Christ.
And that defense
Compare
has been
the
elite.
rosters.
Houston's defense has
That
carried.
Texans offense has a lot of holes. And the way
Our
that they
offense
started-
is not that good.
It's way better
Compare
than
their
Houston's,
offensive
though.
lines. Compare the
Okay,
running
solely
games.
because of our offensive line.
That's big.
Texans are the Broncos' run game's been worse as of late after losing J.K. The Texans' run game's been the worst of any of these playoff teams. I would also say too, there's something to be said. I think we're just so caught up in like the coach of the year race. We don't give enough credit to the fact. I think Liam Coen and Ben Johnson turning the culture around as drastically as they did in the
100%.
first year as coaches, because they were elite coordinators, especially in Ben Johnson's case. But there is that big question: could they turn around a culture? Could they galvanize a locker room and lead men, not just be a great play caller? And with the Liam Coen staff before, it was the first year head coach to lead this drastic a turnaround. I think both of them really deserve a lot more praise for the fact that it's not only they're just elite offensive minds. No, they're also an elite. They're showing they can turn around a culture from pretty poor to something special.
I don't disagree with you. Listen, Ben Johnson would be my coach of the year. The fact that the Bears' expectation were to come in last, to be a team that's going to take a step in the right direction, but because that division was so loaded, nobody had the expectation of them even sniffing second place, let alone winning the division, let alone having an opportunity at one point to be the 1 seed, with now a real legitimate chance to be the 2nd seed in NFC, which is one of the best conferences that we've seen over the last few years. They've been dominant. Shout out to them. They've been clutch situationally as well, and doing this with such a young supporting cast as well. Ben Johnson coming in year 1 and changing this culture this drastically, I would put him number 1. Number 2, Liam Coen. He has a legitimate case for number 1 as well. Liam Coen and the Jaguars' expectations this year. People thought that they had, I'll give you your credit, you definitely were higher, and you as well were higher on the Jaguars coming into the season. But obviously I slept for a long time because I wasn't sure what Trevor Lawrence we were going to get. And as the season progressed, we saw him get more and more comfortable, especially post Jacoby Myers trade. And a piece of that is Liam Coen not being willing to take the job for the last GM was there. He said, fire this GM or I'm not coming in. He wanted a complete turnaround for Jacksonville. And who knows if that GM, we know for a fact he wouldn't have come, but
that's an all-time move.
Jacoby Myers' deal has changed their offense drastically. And like we mentioned, this is without Travis Hunter, who now, with the way that I look at things, is he going to play wide receiver for them next season? He genuinely might just become their full-time cornerback because that's a need of theirs. They need help in the secondary.
He can do everything. So
he can. It's true. I'm not going to rule out him being Ohtani still. I'm not going to rule that out. But you have to give them flowers and what they've been able to accomplish both offensively and defensively. Number 3, I'm going with my Denver Broncos. I'm going with Shawn Payton. The best record in football. The best defense in football, arguably. The offense and its growth throughout the season. Bo Nix's growth throughout the season. It's been with the same supporting cast too. Shout out to Cortland Sutton, absolutely. Shout out to this amazing offensive line. It's a supporting cast that is amongst one of the league leaders in drops this season, number 2 to Jacksonville. So I'll give Trevor some grace there as well. But a rookie who you could argue is the 2nd best offensive player on this team, and a lot of people are not even high on RJ Harvey because they feel like he's inefficient with his opportunity. I love his upside as a receiving back.
Pat Bryant for a second.
No, I'm still going with RJ Harvey, who should have a seat at the table for offensive rookie of the year, but with the way that Shuck closed out, got to give him his love.
Jeez.
Offensive rookie of the year, I don't know. But he's been
Shuck?
good.
This is like a weak offensive rookie of the year class.
Without a doubt, it's terrible.
I think, there's a few guys.
We're talking about Tyler Shuck being the favorite. He's played 8 games.
He's been
awesome. I'm not saying
it's
he
probably
hasn't.
Tet's been the most consistent, I feel
Right
like.
now, Tyler Shuck is the favorite.
Tyler Shuck is the favorite, but RJ Harvey also RJ leads all rookies in touchdowns, which is why I think he deserves to be in this conversation at the minimum.
Yeah,
100%. Number 4, Shanahan. I have him here because, one, John, what you're saying is fair. All the injuries that they face, for them to never waver. The offense has stayed consistent, whether it was with Mac Jones, whether it was Brock Purdy. The constant was CMC, thankfully.
No Kittle, Jake Ton just broke out.
And then the defense having no.
And you know what? I spoke with this with Dad, and obviously it's not something that every player can do. But when you sit and you have one of the greatest to ever do it to learn from, and you actually take in what he's saying to you and teaching you, Tanjas, you have to give nothing but praise to as well, to come in and spot minutes. And when it's his time, he shows that he's ready for the moment. But then when he's get relegated to a role, he still can be a threat in that role as well. But I agree. Shanahan has had to overcome a lot and has a chance to be the number 1 seed, which is remarkable. But coming into the year, we still had the expectation to be great. Everybody's favorite to go from worst to first was San Francisco because we know the overwhelming talent that they have. And even still with the overwhelming amount of injuries that they've had, they've been able to manage and still be in position to be the 1 seed. Nothing but praise for them. And number 5, I have to go McDonald. As much as I want to give flowers to Vrabel, deserved. The Patriots going from worst to first. Incredible. The division that the Seattle Seahawks are in is ruthless. And the fact that they can be the 1 seed, they have the best defense in football. Like you mentioned, his specialty is defense, and they're one of the best, if not the best, in the game. You should do nothing but praise Seattle for what they've accomplished. And a big piece of that is obviously McDonald and what he's brought to them.
You could truly say 6 coaches could win Coach of the Year.
I don't disagree.
When we were making these lists, I almost forgot, and I think this is our fault, to talk about D'Amico Ryans, because there's something, the one player that I think we all forget, they fall to 3-5 after that Broncos loss, and you win every single game without CJ Stroud. You beat the Jaguars, and you beat Josh Allen with your backup quarterback.
Yeah.
And that is how their season turns around. With your quarterback down, almost akin to San Francisco, you're multiple games under 500 in the toughest division in football at that current point, arguably, surely in the AFC, and they come back and they're about to win 12 games. I think that's why D'Amico Ryans deserves to be kind of at least mentioned.
Yeah, he deserves to be there too.
That's why I wanted to mention him, because the defense is the best in football. Like, I think you can make arguments for others, but what that unit has been able to do week in and week out, and just the personnel of it, like Will Anderson, we know is elite. Danielle Hunter is the greatest under talked about player ever. Like, he's the fastest edge rusher to 113.5 sacks, I believe.
Okay.
He holds like these obscure records where he's going to go down in history as like one of the all-time sack leaders, and you're going to be like, wow, that's Danielle Hunter. Like, I would have never guessed it. But he's been that productive. Then Stingley, Kamari Lassiter would be a number one corner on like 80% of NFL teams. And then Jalen Petrie, who's one of the best safeties in football. Like, they just have amazing players all around, and they've been able to win games like that. That's why I think that D'Amico is a great honor.
No, you need. There's been so many teams that have overexceeded expectation, and that's why this year has been so excellent because of that alone. This has been one of my favorite seasons of football I've ever watched. Of course, in due part to the Broncos being one of the best teams in football, that's the obvious part, but just so much parity around the league and so much that has changed from last year to this year. Maybe it's because the top guys aren't the top guys anymore. That's exciting for me as well. The fact that we don't have to, obviously, get well soon, Patrick Mahomes, but we're not going to have Mahomes in the playoffs. We may not have Lamar in the playoffs. We're not going to have Burrow in the playoffs. Josh is going to be in the playoffs, but none of us look at the Bills like they're going to do anything. At least me personally, I've been constant in that. Who knows? They could make me look wrong. Like, I've been wrong in a few things this season. But the Bears going from fucking worst to first. Jaguars having a top 5 pick. Now being one of the most dangerous teams in the league.
3 teams go worse to first?
Yes, which is crazy. Has that ever happened?
It was
Fantastic
the
question.
Patriots, it's the Bears.
And Jags.
Jags
Well, no, they were
last because Titans.
Titans were a little bad.
It will be the 49ers.
Panthers?
If the 49ers win, it will be them.
The Panthers were not last year, or were they?
I'd be surprised if they were. I think
Saints were last.
Saints.
Who did the Saints draft in the first round this past year? Now I'm blanking.
Tackle.
Facts.
Yeah,
Banks, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he's a star.
Texas.
He is.
Yep.
That's Tyler Shuck's guy, man. But yeah, these all markets can be looked at Poly Market. If you want to partake in a market, you can do that. And you can join them at polymarket.com. And we have our code Pick a Side. You can skip the wait list and start using the app immediately with our code Pick a Side. If you think Kyle Shanahan should win, throw a little sun on that. That's your prediction. And that's who I think is going to win, Kyle Shanahan. If he wins Week 18 against the Seahawks, I think he's stamped. He gets it.
I mean, that would be the cherry on top. Honestly, for both coaches. If McDonald gets it done, that could be the cherry for him. So both you guys are going with Shanahan. We're going with Ben.
Mike Vrabel is the favorite, which is shocking me.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Liam Coen's done a better job with respect.
Mike Vrabel, but he got the aura, man. Should have never been fired from Tennessee and now turning around the Patriots.